Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
Rick Heyman here from Starter Heyman Jr. $9,100 or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
That it is. Welcome into On the Block. Strick and Austin with you live from Wilderness Ridge. We're here for the Amon Greens Foundation's first annual Nebraska Esports Golf event. Once again, a huge thank you to everyone helping make this possible, including Wilderness Ridge, including all the great sponsors, all the teams. I think Amon said we're right around 130 people who made a part of their day to come out, swing the sticks, and help support the Nebraska Esports Foundation. I do not swing. A guy that's very familiar with a golf swing sits to my right. You're right as well if you're watching on stream. Strick, what's up, partner?
What it do?
How we doing?
We out here, man. It's breezy. It's nice. The weather is absolutely amazing. What a time to play. But now, if you're not a golfer and you're somebody like Shaky Jakey or Tricky Nicky, you might be spraying the ball all over the place. Unless in light of Jay Foreman, you're on that athlete. And if you're on that athlete, you might be all right. But other than that, it is absolutely a beautiful day, though, no doubt.
It is. It sounds like the report from Nick and Jake was not favorable, at least when they last checked in. I think they were through their front 9. Still waiting to hear back. Maybe I should text him and see how things are going for a status update. But we got a lot to get to here on today's show. Of course, we have to mention Game 2 of the NBA Finals. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes nuts again. We'll talk about that. But first, really the news of the day. The news of the weekend was that the House settlement got approved by Judge Claudia Wilkin, and that's a huge step. It's a landmark day for college athletics. Greg Byrne, the athletic director for Alabama, of course, he's blood with former Nebraska AD Bill Byrne, said that he thinks it's one of the 3 most impactful days in college sports history, along with the founding of the NCAA, Title IX, and then now this House settlement. So what it is, Strick, we know we've talked about it quite a bit, but for those who might still be catching up, it officially puts into place the revenue sharing from schools to their players. It's the $20.5 million, which is the 22% of the average annual budget for a Power 5 school. So let's just start with that. It wasn't collectively bargained. It was handed down by a judge, and various groups said, yep, $20.5 million, 22% of the income will now go to student athletes. Do you think that 22% number is where college athletics will stick? Do you think that's a good number? Will it go up? Will it go down? How do you see that part going?
I think it's a baseline. I don't think you want to go too high because it's tough to put the toothpaste back in after you didn't sprayed it out all over the toothbrush. But I think it's a good start. It's not too low. I mean, if you would have been down in that 2%, it's not a quarter, but it's close.
Right.
So I think you're talking about a quarter share of the revenue amongst that out of the 20. I think that's fair and favorable. A good start. Now there's going to be another shift of, and I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to spit it out here. You've heard it here, and you probably heard it somewhere else, but I think the NCAA is dead. Yeah, I think it's a dead. Is a dead fish swimming in the water. It's a goldfish
getting flushed down the toilet bowl,
thrown in the bowl. Right. I think they're done. And what you're going to see is you're going to see these collectives coming together as top tier. I think this is why there's been a huge push for a lot of universities to make their way into certain conferences to kind of get ahead of it. You probably are going to see a little bit more intensity of like Oregon State and maybe Cal and the likes of them trying to, jump somewhere, get somewhere pretty quickly because otherwise you're going to start getting phased out. Washington State as well. Cal's in, right?
Cal's in the ACC.
They're in.
Just not a great arrangement for them, but it's better than nothing.
That's right. I meant.
Yeah, Washington State. Yeah.
So I think that's where we are, man. I think we're at a place now where big business is gonna be doing big business. I think you'll come in there because if it's around there right now, you'll probably start to see multi-millionaire conglomerates coming together and possibly buying programs. I think they're going to start making ways for stuff like that to happen. There's going to be some creativities that are generated. You're going to have your marketing department is going to have to get innovative and stop sitting on their hands and just thinking about, oh, this is it.
Can't afford to have what?
Brand complacency. You can't afford it. This is why some universities got ahead of it by acquiring GMs. I like what Sac State had done. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like you look at a team like Sac State and you wonder how can they compete on the levels of some of these big. They've done it. They brought in guys like Shaq, who's their GM on the basketball side, Mike Bibby as their head coach, their football squad. They're thinking ahead, and I like that. I think more teams and universities, especially on a smaller scale, it shows me that they can do it, that they can figure it out.
If they tell themselves they can, not woe is us, not pity us, any of that sort of thing. The other part of this that I think we need to get into here in the first segment, because there's a lot that you got into and some more notes on that coming up. But the other part is the back pay to previous student athletes. I hate to break it to you. You're not going to be involved. Sorry, my guy.
So I know they X this out. That's bull crap. But
they will send it back to 2015 or 16, one of those 2 years, 10 years in the past. Here's the big part, Stricky. The NCAA thought it was going to be on the hook for $20 billion worth of damages. Judge Wilkins said, nope, we'll cut that down to $2 billion total for athletes across those 10 years that she said deserve that back pay, are going to get at least in this first wave. Now, $2 billion is still $2 billion. That's a chunk of change. And what it sounds like the NCAA is going to do is they'll have 10 years to pay it out. So it's going to be, I think, like $2.75 million per year that they'll pay out to former student athletes. And a lot of this, Stricky, is going to come from, obviously, March Madness, right? That's the big moneymaker for the NCAA. But some other places were saying, I mean, you can only reduce spending so much, right? There's going to be cuts for the NCAA. Conferences and schools are probably going to get less right now just because they took too long to get around to paying athletes. Are you okay with knocking $20 billion down to $2 billion? Are you okay with it coming from the NCAA instead of the individual schools? What do you make of that?
Yeah, the NCAA was a big beneficiary of this whole thing, right? It's another way to knock them off. I really do. I look at it from just standing outside of it, looking at it from a perspective of like a lot of people are going to be disappointed. They're going to be upset. But I think it's a good number to start the conversations and to really start trying to give them space to figure out what's next with some running room, and not necessarily have to jump so hard into the pool or get knocked off the seat of what do they call it? The pitch of where the person's sitting on the seat and you get dunked into the water.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's something that don't happen that fast. You don't want to have to get dunked that fast. Me, I like to kind of go slow into the water. I don't like to jump in, but some people do.
Let's get to this here. I saw this on Twitter. I think it's worth going over here from Sam Ehrlich. He does some law stuff in business at Boise State. From what Judge Wilkin said, because you said it, and I think it bears repeating here. What Judge Wilkin wrote in her decision, the settlement agreement here reflects compromises that were made in light of those legal precedents, which demonstrate that success at trial can mean that student-athlete compensation restrictions may be lessened, but not eliminated. Despite some compromises, the settlement agreement nevertheless will result in extraordinary relief for members of the settlement classes, yada, yada, yada. The reaction of settlement class members, those who are suing the NCAA for their money, has been very favorable, as only a very small fraction of them have opted out or objected. And that to me is really important here, Strick, because when I read that sentence from Judge Wilkin, who's been, in the weeds with all of this, who's done a lot of talking to and listening to, student athletes and universities, it sounds like both sides are very close to what they want. Neither side is getting everything. Neither side is getting nothing. And I read that sentence again. The reaction of settlement class members has been very favorable, as only a very small fraction of them have opted out or objected. That tells me that these student athletes that were suing the NCAA for back damages because of the use of their name, image, and likeness, they don't have any designs of getting rich quick. This isn't a just sue the NCAA for all they're worth, take all the money I can get and run. It sounds to me like the people who were suing the NCAA that became a part of this lawsuit just said, hey, we want recognition. We want respect. Give us a little something for our time and our trouble.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah. And rightfully so. Like, things have really, like, even for me, like, I understand that a lot of former NBA players, even when we were coming up, saw what we were getting as wow. They looked at it from that wow. And then even now, as we're coming to that space, we're looking at them like wow. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I so when I look at it from being older,
not older,
that I understand that my time has passed. It was their time, and they were the ones that happened to be in the midst of a takeoff of revenues within the sport, right? Mm-hmm. We just laid the groundwork. Like, for me to go back and ask and want, you would like it, but it's their time, and it's not limited or unlimited. And this is the same mentality I have with regards to resources are not just laying around and sitting on trees.
They're not infinite.
Right. They're not infinite. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're in business. It doesn't matter if you're in government. Money's just not sitting there, just available. There has to be an account. And you just can't go that far back, because then if you go that far back, then the ones in the 70s you have to have a limitation on it, because it's not endless. They don't make they make great money over, and yes, they benefited, but at the same time, it's time to just put a bow on that thing, move forward, and let's get into what's next.
The last thing for this segment, we'll obviously keep talking about this throughout the first hour, is the revenue sharing versus the collectives part of it. Collectives aren't going anywhere, but the other big piece of this settlement is now any deals that are worth more than $600 in total value will have to go through the NIL Go portal through Deloitte, which is the company that's running all of this. The first question I would have for you, Strick, is do you think it benefits Nebraska to be in the revenue sharing era where the school can pay directly as opposed to the collective era where it was outside boosters? Does it benefit Nebraska, harm Nebraska, indifferent?
Well, I think it levels the playing field internally. I think it sets the stage for what's next on whether or not they're going to be university ownerships or ownership groups. I think it sets the stage and it brings accountability internally, right? It was always some form of a measure to be able to put blame or to operate in the background of shade. Now it goes on your, on your logs.
Yeah.
You've got to have an account for where stuff is going. You've got to be accountable for the decisions that you make. You got to, you got to be mindful of what's there and what's left. And so you've got to be targeted now on who you go after and who you attack. It used to just be just whatever the scholarships worth was, but it goes well above that now. So yeah, I just think it just creates a higher level if it's internal within the structure of the university.
And again, NIL is not going anywhere. There's still going to be avenues for it, but there will be that $20.5 million cap that the university can actually pay out to all of its student athletes across sports. You said the NCAA was dead, and I think it's certainly trending that way if it's not already. The interesting part of this is going to be with this new Deloitte College Sports Commission, whatever, working hand in hand. There's a number of interesting aspects of it, but number one is who's going to care? How can you be sure that people are going to report their deals through this portal? Who's going to be in charge of enforcement? There is a commissioner for this who's worked for Major League Baseball before. His supervisors are the conference commissioners, the Power 5 conference commissioners. But Strick, to your point of the NCAA is dead, people don't know how seriously they're supposed to take this new entity, how much respect they're supposed to give it, if it's all bark or if there's actually some bite to it. I wouldn't be surprised if sometime in the next couple months, or at least in this first football season, I think this new College Sports Commission has to be really tight, really buttoned up front, and prove that, hey, if you don't report deals, we're going to look into it. If you do something that goes above and beyond and it doesn't make sense, we're going to make an example of you to scare people back in line. Otherwise, the system's going to be the exact same as it was. If people don't respect the authority, they're going to keep the system the same way it was working.
Well, I think eventually, I think that's going to come down. I think they'll eventually ease some of that, and they'll create some form of a tier. I'm not going to say it's similar to basketball. They probably may create some form of a tier,
like the aprons.
Meaning, if you go above and beyond, there's some penalty. If you go above and beyond that, there's a super penalty.
Right.
And that then will begin to hone in a lot of that, because there's going to be some people that are going to play above the rules and the regulations and so forth. And so it's just tough to audit all of them. Yeah. It's going to be see something, say something type deal initially.
But here's the question then. If you see something, do you say something, or do these schools say,
well, if you're
not going to say anything, I won't say anything?
Yeah, it could be some touch and go on that. But here's what I think also is going to come. I think stuff like this, especially on the basketball side, is going to create more open opportunities, because right now the NCAA is the controller of March Madness.
Yeah.
It's going to bring more life into
the college basketball crown.
Stuff like that. I think it's going to open up more doors for like that to really be a solid tournament. You know what I mean? So
yeah, believe it.
So there's where I'm going to be watching to see what branches off of this, who becomes creative, who becomes innovative in the space of creating a great product that people want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, everything about NCAA is not about the game. It's not about the fandom. It's really about the corporate.
Always.
And so who can create that balance between
and here's the thing, it's always going to be corporate, but unless you can make it feel corporate. That's, you kind of pull the wool over people's eyes. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the show right here. A lot more to get to on this subject. I think the next way we want to go, will this system be better or worse for college athletics? Saw an article about the addition of some private equity to college sports, and the first two schools that will be introducing private equity to help with their revenue sharing are Big Ten schools. What does that say about the conference? What does it say about these schools? What does it mean moving forward? We'll dive into all of that and more coming up. He's Strick. I'm Austin. We got Ellie on the board back at our 93.7 The Ticket Studios. More on the block live from Wilderness Ridge in just a moment.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Plenty of sunshine for the rest of your Monday. We'll get up to 77 for a high temperature. A little breezy with wind gusts up around 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, maybe a little hazy from wildfire smoke. We'll drop down to 53 for a low temperature. For Tuesday, tomorrow, sunny and 89, and then mid-90s on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downa for 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Are you buying a home? Westgate Bank understands that you need to make important decisions during your home buying journey. Our local lenders in Lincoln and Omaha make themselves available so you can get the information you need to know. Use our mobile mortgage app to manage your transaction from pre-qualification to closing, no matter where you are. Get the service and convenience you want from a local community bank where our interest is you. Learn more and visit us online at westgate.bank. Westgate Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
Hey, it's Adam Carricker. Join me this Wednesday, June 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Adam Carricker Show live at Suizo Construction to celebrate their ribbon cutting and open house and celebrating 40 years of excellence with a remodeled facility. That's Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Suizo Construction, 3700 South 6th Street.
Country music star Rodney Atkin will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at LincolnStars.com today before it sells out.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Rick Heyman here from Sauter Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sauter Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SauterHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Hey, Jen, it's Eric. Listen, I need to get the schedule set because
We're back here at Wilderness Ridge. Austin Norman and Eric Strickland with you. We are here for On the Block, brought to you by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Special ingredient butcher shop with 3 Lincoln locations and 1 up in Omaha. Learn more by going to themercadobutcher.com. All right, lots more to get to as you get to the House settlement and everything moving forward in it. First things first, Strick. Stuart Mandel, who's done a lot of writing for a lot of different places throughout the year. He's at The Athletic right now. He tweets this out. This would have been Saturday morning. He says, it's somewhat poetic. The House settlement got approved during Game 3 of the Women's College World Series, where $1 million pitcher Najari Kennedy nearly led Texas Tech to an improbable national title, because the purpose of the new Deloitte NIL clearinghouse is to stamp out collectives like Texas Tech's. NIL portal has been the rare development that broke the quote-unquote usual suspect stranglehold on top talent. The top portal quarterback Darian Mensah chose Duke. Cam Ward, Carson Beck chose Miami, which hasn't won in 20 years. 5-star hoops recruit A.J. DeBanza went to BYU, and Kennedy didn't pick Oklahoma. Nick Saban and others love to say they need NIL reform to, quote, level the playing field. The playing field has never been level. The schools with the most history / biggest fan bases always get the best players. So those usual suspects hate someone like Texas Tech using NIL money to invade their turf. When you hear those thoughts from Stuart Mandel, how much do you agree? How much do you disagree? And text line, of course, let us know, 402-464-5685.
Yeah, definitely get in and engage on this conversation so we can talk about it. But here's the thing, right? There's something in the world today that's been there. Some talk about it, some don't. It's a thing called old money, new money. Mm-hmm. Now, this is the premise of why I'm going to answer and discuss this question. Old money, and there's movies out that you can see this develop where I think you can see it. A really good one I think you can see it is in Titanic.
Okay.
Right? So in Titanic,
do you think I've seen that movie?
Huh?
Do you think I've seen that movie?
Seen that.
I have not seen that one.
No way.
I have not seen the movie in its entirety.
Crazy.
I know the premise though.
Yeah, he a matter of
Big
fact,
shit meet ice.
Listener, he does remind me of Leonardo DiCaprio.
I know Jack and Rose, and I know the door, and there was room for them both.
No, but nonetheless, when you're talking about this old money thing, right? That's like old prominent programs. Mm-hmm. No matter what sport you're in, there's levels to it where there's organizations, programs that have that blue blood kind of staple on them.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So whenever someone new pops up on the radar, BYU's, like they
Kansas
even
State,
gained
Arkansas.
a name. They only gained a name by way of
Kevin Young?
No, young fella.
Oh, Jimmer.
Jimmer.
Yeah.
That's really kind of
yeah.
how they came even on the scene. Is Jimmer went nuts. Okay, they disappear off the scene, you know, pop up Sean Bradley because he was an anomaly.
Right.
You know, that stuff happened. But next thing you know,
they go from playing third fiddle in the WCC behind Gonzaga and St. Mary's to
now a landing spot for if you want to get in on his NIL paperwork, we got you. And so no one likes that. Everybody wants to still, when they walk in, they want to be able to sit at the head table, be the head honcho, and be the dog. And you look to them for all of the insight or wisdom or money. You got to come through me. They want to be the gatekeeper or whatever the case may be. I like it. I hope it does. I don't think it will. I think you're still going to have your big boys, big dogs, and they're still going to be able to play in their pits. But we'll see.
The problem is I think there's room for the necessity of both systems. And that number one, I do think it's healthy for college sports. I think it would be healthy for pro leagues too, to get these little out of the way, nowhere, nobody, quote unquote, franchises or athletic departments to pop up, right? Like how cool for Texas Tech to sign Najari Kennedy, go to the Women's College World Series, have a chance to win its first one in school history. Their football team hasn't won anything of consequence ever in its history. And so they're paying for the number one portal class in football as well. They've invested in basketball, certainly. Good for them. They can find the money. That's cool that they can do it. The problem is that I don't think we're still comfortable as a sports society with pay for play, with open free agency in college sports. And maybe we get there down the line and we go back to a system like we've had over the last 5 years. But for now, I think there's still a lot of people grasping at these straws of amateurism, of let's just make it fair. Let's not go overboard. We're not ready for full-on free agency. So I do think that $20.5 million, on the one hand, it should create a more level playing field. It should. If universities get to choose how much they're paying within that range to each sport, to each athlete, you know, maybe some will offer a little more, some a little less. Some will, you know, invest in one or two programs. Some might spread the wealth a little more evenly. And I think that's great too, you know, that all these student athletes are going to be compensated essentially like a day job for being a college athlete. There's got to be room for both systems, though, I think, because we need to have these success stories pop up to give hope, to make sure that there are, you know, continually more and more opportunities for more and more student athletes. Because if, you know, a Texas Tech would say, all we have to work with is the same as everyone else, we're trying to spend our money wisely, but other teams, you know, have more history, more tradition, more prestige. That's where the best athletes are going to go. Why should we even try? You can see them, you know, making athletics an afterthought or cutting programs to try to save money and what have you. And especially then, I think that trickles down to the mid-major level in basketball, to the group of five level in football, where that $20.5 million mark is that average, you know, figure for Power Five conferences. It didn't factor in the mid-majors at all, which is where I think you get the conversation about private equity and what that means, how many rich investors, who's actually going to run the programs and whatnot. And so when I first heard about private equity, Strick, I thought, oh, okay, some mid-major is going to want to compete. So, you know, they're going to find someone really wealthy. They're going to finance that athletic department and live with the consequences, come what may. Well, come to find out, this is from Daniel Libet, who writes for Sportico. He scooped just about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago. Penn State and UCLA are the first two schools to sign on to Elevate's new college investment initiative, thus leading college athletic departments' shift toward private equity investment. Penn State and UCLA are in the Big Ten. They're getting their, you know, $65, $70, $75 million per year in TV revenue. And they're still signing on for private equity.
Yeah.
That shocks me. And I don't know what to make of that. On the one hand, okay, maybe they just want a little boost, right? Maybe they want to be pioneering. They'll take all the help they can get. And this way they can spread money, resources around other programs. On the flip side, reading this, maybe I'd be a little bit worried. How reckless were Penn State and UCLA with their money that they need help from private equity to fund revenue sharing. I don't know where to take that. I'm just surprised it's 2 Big Ten schools who are the first ones signing on for outside help.
And so I'm going to have difficulty trying to figure out with regards to Penn State. I can understand a little bit with UCLA, meaning UCLA is not on the same, but because they're really a private, pretty much a private.
Yeah, they're private.
They're a private university type deal. So it's a little bit different. But you also have the expense of not only where you are, you're in Westwood.
Right.
you got to dang near take care of that big stadium over in Pasadena, which is not next to you either.
Right.
It's not on campus.
Right.
Then you've got all of the money that it takes just to operate any type of business there. And I think they're trying to be a university that gets ahead of it a little bit.
Sure.
Because they need, not that they need it, but they're trying to figure it out.
Let's look at this. Nick was nice enough to wave at us on his way by. Jake was not. So shocker. Of course.
Shaky Jakey. Know how that's why we call him Shaky
Jakey. But no, I think that's a good point, Strick, to get out in front of it, be an innovator, and any help you can get, I think, from the outside looking in is going to help you maybe spread some of those resources around to other programs. Or, if you can save revenue sharing dollars, you can spread some around to NIL, direct money. I don't know how the back channels are going to work entirely. I just think it's really interesting. And then from this article here, Elevate is the company. They're going to give $500 million to their college investment initiative, according to a few people who are close to the situation. Let's just say, hypothetically, that $500 million, let me do some quick math here, let's just divide it by 20. How many schools could that finance? So we'll do 500 divided by 20. Yeah, that's 25 schools. If you're taking the full, 20 million, 20 and a half, whatever have you, if you can't find $500,000, I'd be surprised. I doubt schools are going to go all the way up to the $20 million from Elevate. But still, are we talking about they're around for, 50 schools at $10 million a pop? Are they around for, 75 schools, 100 schools, whatever it is? Do they want to get into all of Division I?
My question is, what are they asking for that? Because there's nothing for free.
Right. You get this money up front, or we'll give it to you over a number of years. What are these schools paying back with interest?
What is it?
And I think maybe the most important question, what level of involvement in the decision-making processes does this outside group want? Because you think about it, Rick, you played minor league baseball, minor league baseball clubs are at the whims of the owner, essentially, right? Yes, some of them are locally owned, but ultimately the players, those decisions are made from up above. Yeah. So I could see some people from Elevate coming in and saying, you know what, have the money, pay us back. It's literally just an investment for us, no big deal. But maybe someone gets a wild hair and says, hey, I'm giving you my money. I want some decision-making power. What does that do to the board of trustees, to the board of regents, to the chancellor, the president, the athletic director? I don't know if it causes issues, but I think it very clearly could.
It could. It definitely could. It definitely could be a Trojan horse of sorts.
Yeah.
And we just don't know. And so, again, with the possibility of the NCAA not having any oversight, who is oversight? Who's going to monitor? Who's gonna say that there's no involvement of back dealings or DraftKings? Let me not put a name on it. Yeah, forgive me for that.
Gambling company,
but any type of gambling company,
right? Yeah. Old Dead 34. Let's hit our text line before we go to break here, real quick, and we'll get back to more. With this settlement, will it bring back the brown paper bag for under the table payments? That's never gone away, right? That's always been there. It's supposed to be more upfront. It's supposed to be more transparent. It's never been perfectly transparent, right? There's always something sketchy, something shading going on. I'm willing to bet. So no, I don't think it'll bring it back because I don't think it ever went anywhere. So let's go ahead and take our final break of the hour. When we get back, we'll have more from you on our Sartor Hamann Jewelers text line, 402-464-5685, 5297, Cubsker, John and Cortland, and I suppose even Eric will get to your comments when we get back to Wilderness Ridge for On the Block.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
Country music star Rodney Atkins will be performing at the Icebox on Friday, June 20th. Tickets start at $30 and doors open at 7 p.m. The capacity is only 3,000, so don't wait. Buy your tickets at LincolnStars.com today before it sells out.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
Are you buying a home? Westgate Bank understands that you need to make important decisions during your home buying journey. Our local lenders in Lincoln and Omaha make themselves available so you can get the information you need to know. Use our mobile mortgage app to manage your transaction from pre-qualification to closing, no matter where you are. Get the service and convenience you want from a local community bank where our interest is you. Learn more and visit us online at westgate.bank. Westgate Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Plenty of sunshine for the rest of your Monday. We'll get up to 77 for a high temperature. A little breezy with wind gusts up around 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, maybe a little hazy from wildfire smoke. We'll drop down to 53 for a low temperature. For Tuesday, tomorrow, sunny and 89, and then mid-90s on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downham for 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Wrapping up hour one of On the Block. Austin Orman, Eric Strickland with you. Once again, thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Eric says, blasphemy, Austin. You have to see Titanic. Yes, I know. I understand it's a classic. I get the premise. So at this point, I kind of feel like I can skip it, right? I know about rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic and all that. So I know I should see it. I just don't necessarily feel obligated to. And yes, Eric, we can still be boys, but it's because we're boys that I can make those snide comments in your direction. Let's hit Cubsker on the text line here. I feel like Nebraska has a big enough fan base that if it were true, we would be competing at the top of the Big Ten year in and year out. Number one, no disrespect, no knock to Husker Nation. Maybe there are more fans. Maybe there's more passion. And sure, Husker Nation shows up. But we've talked about the economics behind it before, right? How spread out are they? How engaged are they? How willing to invest are they? 52.97, 22% plus scholarships, room, and board are supposed to equal near 50% of revenue. That's going to be really interesting to monitor, Strick, is that extra 22%, it doesn't cover the scholarship because they get paid a wage essentially on top of here's your scholarship, and schools will have to decide how many scholarships they want to pay out for that on top of room and board. When you look at Nebraska, we'll just take football and men's basketball just for two examples. You can have up to 105 in a couple years in terms of number of allowable scholarships for football and 15 for basketball. Do you think Nebraska will fully finance both of those programs with full scholarships, or do you think Nebraska will settle it, 90 football scholarships and 13 or 14 basketball scholarships? What would you guess Nebraska would do?
Well, I think I don't know if they go all the way up to 15 as far as scholarship wise. I think they'll leave room still for their walk-on opportunities. Maybe a little bit of NIL to it, maybe just to kind of get them there. Maybe I don't know. I think if you can, the issue with that, especially at Nebraska, especially with the model that right now they look to be implementing, which is finding gyms at lower levels and developing and bringing them in before they really get hot out there in the market, right? I look at it from a standpoint of them doing that, then they can save, because Nebraska trying to keep 15 people, it's just not going to. So it's a waste of money.
Sure.
You understand? You have to have probably a good 3 of those people that just, they want to be here. They want to be a part of something. They want to be with the program, that you don't necessarily have to be throwing NIL money at them just to keep them on campus.
Right.
Now, you definitely want to have a buffer just in case of injuries or whatever. So maybe a couple, one extra player, 13, maybe scholarships as opposed to 15. Now, football, I think they may. It just depends on how much they like. How do they really want to play? Like, if they don't want to play, then don't do it. I say don't do it. If you really don't want to play, if you want to play, then go out and get people. But again, I still fall in the mode of Nebraska football being brand complacent.
No, that's fair. And kind of to that point, 1508 chimes in and says Nebraska fans will invest once Nebraska starts winning. Let me say a couple things. Number one, it's kind of gross that it was on the fans to invest at all. It's just unfortunate because the universities had this money, had the opportunity to do it, and didn't do it for so long that, again, I'm not knocking any collective for doing what they had to do to get by, to raise money. But I think it's too bad for fans that they had so much asked of them and demanded of them to try to get athletes to campus and try to keep them to campus when universities could have been doing this for a long time now and didn't. And number two, is it on the fans to start investing when they start winning, right? I don't think it's fair weather to say that, you win and they'll come. Nebraska fans show up. We know that about them. They're out there. They put their money where their mouth is, I think, for the most part. But again, what is the donor pool that you're pulling from? You have to understand who it is you're asking for money instead of just saying, oh, Nebraska fans out there somewhere have money. You can't say, oh, Nebraska fans have money, they'll invest when they start winning, without actually understanding who Nebraska fans are, the demographics of Nebraska fans, figuring out what they are actually willing and able to give. Comfortably, maybe uncomfortably for one or two of them, but the juice has got to be worth the squeeze for people who are going to invest in Nebraska athletics anyways. Before we go to break, Strick, I want to bring this up to you too. The 7-on-7 tournament that Nebraska had, there was a standout young man, Ahmad Hudson, 6'6", like number 1 tight end in the 2027 class, also a 4-star power forward in basketball. He got a Nebraska offer. So
7-footer, right?
6'6".
6'6"?
6'6". Oh. But he's a junior in the class of 27, so certainly still some room to grow. Let's take Ahmad Hudson just as another hypothetical example. He's said he wants to play both football and basketball in college, right? He seems like a pretty darn good athlete, good hands. Haven't seen him on the basketball floor, but I can imagine he moves pretty fluidly. Let's say you're Nebraska, and you obviously want to need to talk to the young man to do this, but financially for Nebraska, Do you give him one of your 105 football scholarships? Do you give him one of your basketball scholarships to save one for football? Do you think you'd be allowed to go halvesies in football and basketball? If you're Nebraska and you want this young man and you're going to give him the opportunity to play 2 sports, where do you think his scholarship is going to come from? Where should it come from?
I think so the way that they did it for me, right? Obviously, I came in by way of basketball. It was kind of sad that Danny only wanted me to be specific about, even though he had a free scholarship, right?
Right.
It was paid for by the Marlins, and he really was curbing Coach Osborne in that. I actually, here's my thinking. If I'm Fred, I'm negotiating with Rule, and whoever their GMs or whatever their situation, their money. And I'm saying, I'll take him on my scholarship. Okay. If I'm Fred.
Okay.
But when I need a favor, if there's somebody big or top, if I need a favor, I'm going to need you to kick in for me. So I'll take the ownership of the scholarship. It won't be no issue to you.
We like him anyways.
We like him. But when I need you, I'm going to need you to kick in for me on a player. Like, I'm only taking 13, and he's going to be 13 for me. And I don't want to do it, but I do want to do it because I know that we can work together on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm negotiating. I'm trying to figure out something to negotiate.
I like that thought process because I think a lot of people, I think this was my first reaction, would say Nebraska would probably want to give him a football scholarship because there's 105 of them potentially. So any one football scholarship is going to be less of a percentage of the number of scholarships in a basketball scholarship. But I love the way you approach it where Nebraska basketball doesn't have the same resource base as Nebraska football. So if you can, say, yeah, well, we'll take a scholarship. We'll free one up for you for someone else, but make it worth my while. I really like that approach. And then it comes down to, I think, football and basketball are going to be hard to pull off at the same time, especially if, Nebraska football gets to where it wants to go, where they're still playing into, obviously, the regular season last weekend of November, bowl game or college football playoff in December, and probably into January. That's conference play in college basketball. So how would that work with the demands? Excuse me. If he's starring in football, you don't want to take him off the team.
So that's what I'm saying.
But
you're taking the risk of it being early in the process.
Yeah.
You're going to probably get the majority of him because the part of that negotiation, if he is not on active roster, fully playing, he's
kicking over basketball to work out.
This is the way for us to keep him happy because he's actually going to play for me, in a role here probably. I need his size and physicality.
Yeah.
And that's going to keep him happy here so you don't feel that you have to thrust him in or risk losing him.
Sure.
So we can keep him on campus. Again, it's a risk. So your risk is you're hopefully able to get usage of him early up until maybe he's a sophomore, junior.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you don't mind and you can.
He's picked his path, he decides.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's see here. Big Bird says Fred offered a scholarship to him. Well, yeah, he made the offer, right? But when you actually get down to the brass tacks of it all, he won't get both a basketball and a football scholarship. That's not how that's going to work. So Nebraska just made the offer to show, hey, we're interested in you. We would like to have you on our basketball program, is I assume part of that deal. Or maybe Fred Hoiberg has no interest in him in the 2027 class, and he's just doing it, as that favor to Matt Rule, kind of in the reverse situation, to just throw the bone out there, right? Hey, you know what? Yeah, we like you. We like your tape. We'll at least give you a look, knowing full well in his heart that, this is a football guy that we'll give a couple workouts and then he'll see the light once he gets to campus. And, a number one tight end in the class and a 4-star power forward. He's probably pretty good at both sports. So I'm sure it's a guy that, Nebraska would have liked to have been in on, but probably didn't think they had much of a chance with before. Here's the opportunity. At least say, hey, we're interested. We'll give you a fair opportunity. We'd love to have your services. So
there it is.
Let's go ahead and go to break. We'll come back at the top of the hour. Still lots more to get to when it comes to NIL, the House settlement, and more, including Olympic sports. We'll dive into that and plenty more when we get back to On the Block.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Several irrigation contractors in Lincoln go out of business every year, leaving sprinkler system orphans begging for service. The folks at Judson Irrigation shed a tear for these little fellas. They've been coddling these orphans for more than 40 years. From redesign, repairing, replacing, and restoring, remember the Judson Irrigation Orphanage.
Call the Judson Irrigation Orphanage 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell and Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell and Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell and Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Plenty of sunshine for the rest of your Monday. We'll get up to 77 for a high temperature. A little breezy with wind gusts up around 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear, maybe a little hazy from wildfire smoke. We'll drop down to 53 for a low temperature. For Tuesday, tomorrow, sunny and 89, and then mid-90s on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
Hey, it's Adam Carricker. Join me this Wednesday, June 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Adam Carricker Show live at Suizo Construction to celebrate their ribbon cutting and open house and celebrating 40 years of excellence with a remodeled facility. That's Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Suizo Construction, 3700 South 6th Street.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for ready-mixed concrete in Lincoln. With 3 plants across the city, there are plenty of opportunities to start or grow your driving career. They offer great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Since 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with ready-mixed concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's nebcoinc.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Midwest Bank is now hiring in Lincoln. They have multiple banking positions open and are looking for dynamic individuals passionate about helping others and building relationships. With a family-friendly culture, competitive benefits, and unique perks, Midwest Bank is a great place to start a new career. Apply today at midwest.bank. Midwest Bank is an equal opportunity employer, member FDIC.
If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping, structures, and fences too close to above-ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills Global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. This is On the Block with Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Eric Strickland. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer, Jay Foreman. Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This is On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
No, it's not. It's just Strick and Austin.
It's just Strick and Austin.
We're holding down the fort here at Wilderness Ridge. Everyone else is off on the golf course somewhere doing their thing. We're
Losing
here.
Balls.
Probably.
Pause.
Bit pause. Pause. Wonder if anyone
Pause for the balls.
Wonder if anyone's ever gotten a ball into the pool sitting right in front of us. Probably.
Yeah, if you shot one over that green right there, that's right to our right next to the putt. Listen, let's shout out to Wilderness Ridge. Listen, they're doing it really nice. I mean, the clubhouse, even the cart area, nice little sitting area where you can have a nice meal, the pool. It's a nice little vibe out here. I mean, I would come out here and practice and enjoy my time. Just don't know if I want to be out here with all this wind. But it's definitely a beautiful sight, man. If you ever not had the opportunity to come out to Wilderness Ridge and partake in the beauty of it all, do so, no doubt.
I need to just invest in a putter and just come out to the putting
Yeah,
range. Your boy
just
can't drive. Your boy can't chip. Your boy can't do anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'd like to think I could get good at putting.
All the money's
Simple.
that's where the money's at.
Oh, yeah.
The money's in the putt. You get there, you still got to put it in pause. Let's go on.
We got lots more to talk about when it comes to the house settlement and NIL. We'll definitely hit the NBA Finals Game 2 coming up here in just a little bit. 1841. Oh, yeah, you probably didn't hear this. I know you're busy working, man, Stricky. 1841 comes to your defense, says, I think Strick would have been an All-American had he played football for Nebraska. Vershawn and Terrell were talking nonsense this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Vershawn was saying you didn't want any of that smoke. He thought you were going to play receiver and that you dipped out, not because you didn't want to block, but because you heard footsteps from Mike Minner. That's what the captain said.
Listen, balls that were paused, that were thrown in my area were caught regardless of who got hit and who didn't.
Yeah.
You listen, they ran again more pass plays in one practice that day than they did that whole year of playing. So no, I listen.
But you would have played safety, right?
I was never scared of any smoke. That's you know that. Vershawn Wolf ticketing. But no, I was never afraid of the smoke, but I knew that one, I was not going to be blocking all day. Like I didn't mind it.
Right. But you didn't love it like that.
No, I didn't love it like that. I liked to get out in the patterns. Two, I think I was still ahead of my time. I probably would have been a good tight end type.
Okay,
like Johnny
okay.
Mitchell.
Okay. I see the vision. Yeah.
That if I was going to play on the offensive side, so I was ahead of myself.
So Vershawn was scared he would take his job.
Facts. I was like Niles Paul before Niles Paul. I was that kind of guy, right?
You remember Niles Paul returned kicks for Nebraska?
Yeah, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like I had good Austin. I had good on-field speed, but I wasn't 40 fast. So
I totally know the difference.
You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have the technique for it. I probably could have practiced and got better, but I was probably a 4.5, low 4.6 guy. So I wasn't fast, right?
But you play fast.
But I played like it. I was quick. I got to places I can get there. That's why I would have played defense. Like defense to me, especially in that time, I would have looked like Cam Chancellor.
Woo! Bam, bam, Cam.
Larry Atwater, because I was coming to smoke. You. Now, obviously, Coach Samuels would have tried to put me in T. Farley's type position,
right?
You know, on a weak side linebacker. That's probably where they would have put me. Not strong, but weak. But yeah. But other than that, I think I would have been a rover or safety.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. Shane in Waverly says, if there's an unorganized shoot around or 7-on-7 in the offseason, which one would Ahmad Hudson be expected to show up for? That tells you who spends the scholarship. And again, I think some of that would work itself out. If you would be able to play both sports for 4 years at the college level, I would be surprised. That's part of the beauty of high school. And I kind of understand, you know, giving the young man the opportunity to do it. If he can help two programs, if he really wants to give it a try. But Strick, you're a multi-sport athlete. You know the investment, the time that it takes, to do that in college. It's not as easy as saying, I want to play two sports.
Well, and on top of that, we didn't have 7-on-7. So once the sport was over, it was a dead period, and you would fill in the gap of the dead period with, if you're athletic enough, with another sport.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's weightlifting, it's workouts. Yeah.
So for me, I think, well, let's even. You don't want to not take advantage of his hands. He has great hands, soft. I don't know speed-wise. I think physical-wise, I think he could be a both combo block with a good squat type of, put himself in a position, post up, that type. But they say he's really good on the defensive side too, as a defensive end. So that's kind of crazy that you have a lot of options there, not just on the basketball side of things, but also on the football side. So it is a lot of time. It is a lot of, it's more stress than what you would think on the body, especially now with him probably not only playing football, doing 7-on-7, playing basketball, playing some AAU.
Yeah.
There's a lot of miles that can be put on the body with that type. When you're talking about a multi-sport athlete now.
Yeah.
Compared to when I was coming up.
So here comes your two favorite words in the English language: load management. Maybe not, resting, but in terms of what does it look like for this young man to get the proper nutrition, because he's still growing, right? When you get to college, I would doubt that he's, done growing at 6'6.5", 240 at already like 16, 17 years old. There's a lot going on there. So to figure out how best to balance that schedule, we'd like to think Nebraska would be a place that could innovate for him and find a way to do it. But at the end of the
idea.
What's your idea?
I got an idea.
Hit me.
So on the football side, obviously he's gonna not only build for strength, power, muscle, right? I think you let him do a lot of his football stuff, build that.
Okay.
I think when he comes to basketball, you don't overdo him in the weight room. You lean him out.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So when he does, it's maintenance.
Yes.
It's light. It's strengthen any weakened tendon areas. It's that type of work.
Right. Because you can get too bricked up to shoot well.
Right. So the basketball side of him is going to be conditioning, getting into shape, because it's a different type of shape. You're using different type of muscles. So it's maintenance and working the muscles that are going to be used the most to make sure. I'm talking about on a repetition. So you want them burnt out, not bulked up. So there's a difference. I think that's the difference of what you're looking for there.
Didn't hear us.
He is something.
He and
else.
Nathan Stewart from Tipsy Tina's and McKinney's are just vibing.
Yeah, they're
right now.
Yeah, man. So I think that's what you
would
would do. I think that's what you would do. I think initially you spot minute him, meaning you can play him as minutes, but you want them on short spurts. Like
Sure.
you want him in 3-minute increments. You can pay him 18, 15, 18 to start.
Yeah.
And then get him up, once he gets into shape, because it's a different type of shape. Once he gets there, then you can ratchet him up. But you want to play him in short spurted clips so that he doesn't, get overwhelmed or the physical or make mistakes, because you're in the crucial point of your season, which is
you're getting into conference play.
You don't want to limit him, but you also want him to be rolled.
Yeah.
Rebound, run,
defend.
That so that way he's focused on that. Now, not take your opportunities when they present themselves, but don't be hunting.
I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the other example that comes to mind for me would be Maggie Mendelson, who was playing basketball and volleyball for a while, eventually gave it up on the basketball end of things just to play volleyball, then transfers to Penn State. Hello, Nicholas. What are we grabbing here? Oh, grab the keys. That's probably a good thing to grab. How's the golf going? Any better? Quote, it was horrible. That's the word out of Jake did? Yes. Shocker. Let it be known. Wow. Okay, let it be known that Jake Sorensen played horribly and cost that team who knows what in prizes and opportunities. So good luck to the rest of the team picking up Shaky Jakey after this bad round. Back to our text line here, Strick. I do think this is an interesting idea from 8893 as well. They say, we've had diamonds in the rough long before NIL. Why are we even discussing scholarships for those who are demanding NIL? For those who get NIL, that amount should be tuition taken out. Save the scholarships for the diamonds in the rough, right? That's been an idea that's been around, for a couple of years now with NIL, is if you're getting paid X million of dollars or X hundred thousands of dollars, why should we give you a scholarship to save that spot for someone else?
Well, the issue is going to be, you could negotiate that, but the issue is going to be, they're giving me a scholarship with this. Like, the only way you can get around that is you NIL the scholarship in.
Yeah.
So your NIL may come out $300,000 more, or whatever the case may be. And again, a lot of this is going to depend, because not everybody is about the money.
Right.
I think that's I don't want that to just totally be out there in space and conversation that it's solely about the money. There are some that's the hunt. There are some that really it's a fit. It's a fit. It's a passion. It's a location that they've just dreamed about. So some other things, some people will take that. And I advise that even in business, because there's been times where, even for myself, like, I don't advise people to it because they're different from me. But even for myself, I was so miserable that the money didn't make me happy. But it wasn't until I went to Boston, even though I was on a veteran minimum contract with them for that year, it was still the best time I've had in basketball. One of the better times of my career.
Yeah.
Without the money.
Right.
So sometimes it's not all
enough money to make it worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. So sometimes, even in business, there are companies that'll literally tell you that they are giving you all these benefits and amenities and all of this, and then all of a sudden they go out of business. Whereas this company has been here for a long term. Like I've had conversations with people, Austin, real talk. I've had conversations with people that live in New York.
Okay.
And let's just keep it equal. They're teachers on both sides.
Okay.
And they're like, well, what I make here is way significantly more than what I would make in Texas or in somewhere else, what they're paying. And I said, have you really thought about the contrast?
Right.
You're making more, but are you?
But are you bringing home more? Gross versus
it
net.
It looks like it, but are you?
Right.
And then when you start to weigh out and look at the costs and the cost of living and so forth and so on, you realize that it's not really about the money.
Right. It is, but it isn't, I guess. And the other, I think, aspect of this to keep in mind is that hypothetically, it goes back to what we talked about in the first segment, a lot of these 5-6 figure NIL deals, more than likely, will be will be going away, and they'll be the rare exceptions instead of as common as they are right now. Because again, with the new clearinghouse, anything more than $600 has to go into this portal, and people will look at it and say, does this meet the reasonable range of compensation for what the contract stipulates? Right now, it feels like pay to play. That's where NIL pushes teams over the top. You're still going to have name, image, likeness opportunities for local businesses or national businesses to get involved with student athletes, to do commercials, to do promotions, to do appearances and whatnot. But if this College Sports Commission does its job, the 5, 6, 7-figure deals, not 7, well, yeah, 7, I guess, in some cases in the millions, the vast majority of those will go away to where it's not going to be pay for play, to where there's not these big dollar figures getting thrown around where, okay, if you're getting paid $1.5 million to go to school X, essentially, the $45,000, $50,000 in tuition is significant, but also just a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
Those types of deals should be reduced. Again, if people take the system seriously, if the rules are enforced. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to just say, oh, just take it out of their take it out of their NIL to pay for their scholarship. In theory, from 30,000 feet, it makes sense. But once you dive a little further into the details, I don't think that holds up. One more thing before we go to break here. Based off that House settlement, Olympic sports coaching associations, right? There's been a lot of talk about that. How do Olympic sports factor into the revenue sharing? There's a statement put out by the AVCA, so American Volleyball Coaches Association, College Swimming and Diving Coaches Association, U.S. Track and Field, and looks like wrestling as well. I'm going to skip the vast majority of this statement just to get the part that I think is important. These coaches write in a joint statement, the future of college sports must not disproportionately benefit a small fraction of the NCAA student-athlete population while jeopardizing opportunities for others. Congress must intervene to address these pressing issues and ensure a balanced, equitable path forward for all student-athletes, including the protection of existing requirements of schools to maintain robust sport sponsorship and meaningful allocation of resources for non-football and non-basketball programs. This is where it remains to be seen, Strick. Title IX, how does that play in, right? That's why there are, institutions that offer football. Because of the high scholarship count for football, you offer more women's sports programs. It'll be interesting to see how Title IX and this new decision from Judge Wilkin come into play. And then the scary part of that, the 3 words, Congress must intervene. Do you think we're heading to a place in college athletics where we will need federal legislation passed? Or do you think that we need to take a step back, take a breath, and give it some time before we get Congress involved?
Well, I think you ultimately want to work through the details, kind of set a baseline, a boundary, so to speak, and then codify it with Congress.
Yeah.
Congress sometimes can't figure things out on their own. So,
let
alone budgets and reconciliations and debt ceiling limits and all that. So I wouldn't advocate for them early in this stage of it all getting involved. I think you want to put some things in place and codify it, then codify it with Congress, then amend it if needs to, if anything needs to be adjusted, but at least it's set in stone. There's an understanding. If people get too far out of line, then you can address it by way of even Congress or hearings. They're going to have a better probably method than most individuals in doing any type of auditing or subpoenaing. Right. You're going to be able to get more information that way. So, don't let them be the initiator of it all, but let them just take what you've got and just put it all in play.
Yeah, I don't love the move of running straight to Congress, trying to get them to intervene right away. I echo everything that you had to say on that. And I totally get the worry from these coaches, right? I know we at the Ticket do a lot of highlighting of these Olympic sports programs. They're putting in a lot of work, and for all the coverage that goes to football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, getting more mainstream, softball now at the Women's College World Series. It's true that the in terms of the percentage of athletes that play the quote-unquote Olympic sports is certainly higher than the percentage of the student-athlete population that's playing the sports that get the majority of the coverage. But that's where we get into that discussion again of, well, what's most fair versus most equitable? Do you take your $20.5 million divided by the number of student-athletes, everyone gets their share? Or does football get a higher percentage of the cap? Do they get more of those dollars, not just on a per student athlete basis, but based on their market share, essentially? So those are questions that we have yet to determine the answer to. I'm sure we are not just right around the corner from those answers. I'm sure it'll take some time to play out.
Got something to say.
Yeah.
Got more shirts that came in.
Hey,
go check them out. Go to theticketfm.com, hit shop, and then you got to go to specialty. I think it's specialty items or specialty guests or something like that. Boom, you'll find them right here. Different types, different versions. WTF on Thursdays. You know what we do.
Thursdays, 6 p.m. This is On the Block, weekdays 3 to 5. We'll be back with another segment talking some NBA Finals after this.
Download our app by searching for 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day wherever you are. More of On the Block next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping structures and fences too close to above-ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell and Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell and Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell and Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
1221 N Street, Lincoln. CordellCordell.com.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. You can count on Sartor Heyman for the very best quality, value, and customer service. When it comes to your jewelry needs, visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at SartorHeyman.com, and thank you for your continued trust after all these years.
Hey, it's Adam Carricker. Join me this Wednesday, June 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Adam Carricker Show live at Suizo Construction to celebrate their ribbon cutting and open house and celebrating 40 years of excellence with a remodeled facility. That's Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Suizo Construction, 3700 South 6th Street.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your County Veteran Service Officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Now's the best time to lock in early order savings on a new John Deere planter from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Plant for success with the latest technology, including Exact Emerge high-speed planters that help you cover more acres with greater precision and productivity. Order your planter for next year now to unlock the biggest savings of the season. Contact your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for some fun, rain or shine. Free entry for military. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball. Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
We're still here at Wilderness Ridge. We got about 30 minutes left in the show and then another hour. Been a great day out here. Beautiful weather. Sounds like the golf was not beautiful for Jake Sorensen. He did confirm Nick's report as we were talking to him. So if you want to shame Jake on the text line here this afternoon or save it for early break in the morning, let Jake know that his work was shoddy today. One company whose work is never shoddy, Heartland of Nebraska Windows. Saw Gary Schunkweiler and crew out here today supporting the Amon Green Foundation. Big shout out to Gary, his family, and his team down at Heartland of Nebraska Windows. They're based out of Hallam, and they offer a free estimate full window replacements, all vinyl triple pane windows, and a lifetime warranty on everything while still keeping their prices affordable. They're locally and family owned with their own team of window installers. Give them a call today for more information. You can do so at 402-430-3852 or by visiting them online at heartlandofnebraskawindows.com. Stricky, one guy who's gotten pretty used to using the window, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, did it again. He popped off. He now holds the NBA record for most points scored across the first two games in a career for the NBA Finals. He passed Allen Iverson by 1 point. AI had the 40-burger and then got to 71 points in his first two career Finals games. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 38 in the first game and then 34 in the second game. Bounce back for the Thunder. They win that one somewhat comfortably. Pacers kind of throw in the towel at the end with a few minutes to go. Let's start with the Pacers storyline, though. Tyrese Halliburton looked a little hobbled walking off the court. Man, if he's limited at all, he hasn't been great already, but if he's even more limited than he has been, this one might actually be over in 5.
Well, I mean, listen, you definitely want him because he's a big shot maker, especially when it matters. He's going to run your team. He's always a risk for giving you some kind of headache or trouble or creating opportunities for you. Struggled a little bit in the turnoff department, having 5 turnovers on just 6 assists. That's got to be worked out. So, listen, you knew that they were going to step up defensively, and they were not going to allow themselves. They're a veteran squad now, even though they're one of the youngest squads, of all
in
time.
NBA history.
In history, right? So they've learned their lessons. They've got great coaching. They're going to they're not going to let themselves go down, especially by the way that they lost. They were going to give a valiant best effort, and they did so. Clearly winning this game, it wasn't even a question. They had opportunities where it could have let it slip, but they did not allow so for this particular game. So shout out to them for getting it done. Great depth. Again, one of the people that I keep my eyes on a little bit in these type of games is Caruso. Had a really good game for them.
Yeah.
Outside of Shai, coming off the bench and giving you a 20 spot is great work.
It absolutely is for one of the best role players in the NBA who knows his job and does his job night in, night out. Strick, you got some stats for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 18 playoff games so far this year. 30.8 points, 6.8 assists, 5.6 rebounds, and 1.8 steals per game in the playoffs. Guess how many other people besides Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have ever done that in a single playoff run? 36, 5, and 1.8 steals.
I'm gonna either say I'm gonna say I know Jordan.
It was Jordan. He did it 4 times.
And I'm gonna say Larry Bird.
It is not Larry Bird.
Then it's got to be Wilt.
It was not Wilt. Baby Bron.
Okay,
Bron did it
you in
twice.
there. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
That's the company Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is keeping right now. And then how about this? Players in NBA history to score 30 or more points in 9 straight home playoff games, Shai and Wilt. That's pretty historic. That's pretty cool. And then this is really a Michael Jordan stat more so than it is a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander stat. After last night's game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has now scored 3,000 points across the regular season and the postseason. Stricky, I'm just going to let you look at this list for all the players ever to do it. You see Luka, Harden, Durant, Kobe, Shaq, Bob McAdoo, Kareem, Rick Barry, Elgin Baylor, 5 times Wilt Chamberlain, but 3,000 points in a single season. There's one player who did it more than Wilt Chamberlain.
Which is MJ. You know what it is.
He did it 10 times. 10 times.
That's sick, bro.
Scoring 3,000 points in an NBA season.
That's sick. That's sick. I don't care what you say. But there's a name on there, 402-464-5685. Run the names down again and tell me which of these names aren't one of these. What's that song?
One of these things is not like the other.
Right. There, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The old school joint.
The names: MJ, Wilt, Luka, Beard, KD, Kobe, Shaq, McAdoo, Kareem, Barry, Baylor.
402-464-5685. Stricky might give away a meal gift card.
Woo.
I'm gonna give you a meal.
We got some.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a meal gift card if you're the number 4 person that can tell me. Yeah, that can tell me which one of those names is the one I'm thinking about on that list.
Augie throws out Bob McAdoo.
That's a fact, Bob. Augie, I'm gonna give it to you just because you came through on the quick, fast, in a hurry.
Johnny Cortland in on McAdoo.
Wait a second.
We'll see.
No, it's too late.
Too late. Okay.
I'm gonna give both of y'all one.
We love y'all.
I love y'all. Both of y'all gonna get one because Bob McAdoo. No one really understood that Bob McAdoo was a beast. He was a killer. He had one of the ugliest shots you've ever seen in your life. But Bob McAdoo, I don't care what anybody says, he was a bucket. He was a bucket before his time.
He ended up in 852 career games, averaging 22 points per game on 50% shooting, 75% of the free throw line. How about that?
He had one
Shout
of the
out Bob McAdoo.
Go and YouTube his shot and tell.
Let's see what we can find here.
Look, let's talk about that. Who is your top 3 ugliest jumpers of all time that you've ever seen? I want to know.
Ooh. Honestly, Reggie Miller's isn't exactly pretty.
Reggie Miller's is up there for sure.
Pretty.
Reggie Miller's shot was a push. Like he somehow with his thumb, he would end up like this.
Yeah.
With his thumb.
Oh, Bob McAdoo.
Did you see it?
What? What is
Go
that?
and look that up on YouTube.
What are we doing?
Did you see it?
Clearly it works.
He gave him 50 though.
Give him 50. Okay, we got to watch this one more time. Here we go. He's doing a little.
No, hey, look, it got worse than that. It got to a point.
What?
Oh no, you know what? Bob's was nasty, but I'm gonna tell you who was nastier. Look up Jamal Wilkes.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Jamal Wilkes is number 1 on mine. Reggie is definitely in there.
Yep.
And Cartwright is in there too. And there's some other ugly ones out there.
Oh,
Watch
boy.
this.
All right, Jamal Wilkes. Let's see what we got, my guy.
Lord have mercy. What was that? It was bucket, though. It was cash money.
What is that?
Cash rules everything around me.
This dude played 12 years in the NBA looking like that?
17 points a game.
17 PPG.
Yeah, almost
Hall of
50%.
Famer.
Facts. With that jumper, the ugliest jumper in ever.
Okay. Let's watch this one more time because what are we doing here?
Look it up, folks. Yes. And that's how he shot it, too.
Young Lonzo.
Oh.
Young Lonzo
and Lou Williams.
Sweet Lou?
Who came across the face? Was that Lou? Was that Lou Williams who shot across his face? Because definitely Lonzo did, for sure. You
I don't know.
Was it Lou?
Well, it was.
I know Lonzo was one.
Yeah, let's watch his high school mixtape because there's going to be something so stupid.
Even LaMelo's is ugly.
Yeah, he bends his knees and it doesn't extend them to jump.
Yeah.
I don't know how you keep your legs bent.
The Matrix has got to be in
there.
there.
Marion, yeah.
Marion has to be in there, my boy.
Why are we not seeing Lonzo Ball shooting highlights?
Because they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. Oh, there it was.
I just missed it. Okay, let's try again. Okay, after this pass, after dunk, here we go.
Oh!
It's completely sideways. From the hip.
How?
How was that? I think he was a freshman All-American at UCLA.
It was ugly.
Okay, one more. We got to look up Sean Marion.
Sean Marion, bro.
Sean Marion jump shot.
We call Sean Marion jump shot the Raptor.
Look how close it is to his
face. It's in his face.
It's right on his head.
How did he see?
Oh, NBA ugliest shooting forms of all. Here we go. Stricker.
Oh, there it is.
Joakim Noah.
Oh!
His hands are a
oh! Joakim Noah. Oh, gosh. It is the ugliest thing on earth. Oh! He would airball the free throw.
Here? Oh,
yeah.
There's young Chris.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Good thing his dad was good at tennis, I guess. Oh, Stricky, what is that?
Look at that.
He even knows it.
He knew it.
He even knows it. Okay, here's Matrix. Here's Matrix. I see what we're doing. Oh, sidestep. Nope. Get back over. Oh, he doesn't even extend his arm.
Bro, it is
it's just a flick of the wrist.
It's the Raptor. It's the Raptor.
I love that nickname.
The flick of the wrist.
Look at the wrist.
Look at the
I love that nickname for the shot. What do you think Sean Marion shot from three in his NBA career?
I'm going to say 32.
33, my guy. Oh, okay. Who else are we going to have
Who else is on there, my boy? Jason Kidd was ugly too now. But he wasn't ugly as his. But Jason Kidd had his early jumper before he got,
Did Kiki get with him too?
Yeah, Kiki probably got with him.
All right. Oh, Chuck Hayes.
Oh,
let's see what Chuck Nasty's doing.
Oh!
the hitch at the top of his shot. That's all arm. Let's watch this again.
No
Oh, Chuck
way.
Hayes, what are we doing? Sure, you watch this.
Way, bro.
It looks normal. Okay. What are we doing here, Chuck Hayes? Oh, there's my boy Shane Battier, though. Oh, shout out Shane Battier. Hey, did you see Don Nelson came back stateside to receive an award?
I saw him.
How about that?
And he had cut his hair because he looked good because he had been struggling with the cancer. I think it was prostate, and he won. He got through it, but he's been living in Maui, man. Just
hasn't been state like continental U.S. for 7 years. I think I saw.
Yeah. Oh, his
crazy.
is ugly. What's his name?
That was Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin.
Should you see that next name?
I missed it.
Okay. We got to play this and then watch the next name after Kevin Martin here. Watch
Tell
this.
them where to find that.
We are primetime ballers, just NBA ugliest
Oh.
shooting forms of all time! ! All caps. Okay, so we watch this one. Okay. Here we go. Watch the next name, Stricky.
No way. We talked him up.
We just got done talking about Don Nelson in his Celtics days.
Wow.
Let's see what it was looking like. Let's see. All right, Don.
He looks like he said, "Oh God." He looks like he is a beginner, starting. You got to imitate that.
So he'll stand to the free throw line, and then he
looks like he's going to be pure.
But then he keeps his left foot way back, bends.
One hand.
It literally looks like a beginner shooting a basketball.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, though.
And that man played in the NBA.
How was he the first, 2 draft picks?
He was a menace at Kentucky. I will not stand for Michael Kidd-Gilchrist slander at Kentucky.
What is that thing he's shooting? Watch
the
this.
thing he's shooting is the basketball, the jump shot.
Oh my God!
He brings it up and then at the very end, flips his wrist inside.
I can't even imitate that.
Ronnie Brewer. See what we got, Ronnie Brewer.
Oh my!
He faded back onto his heels on a free throw.
Yeah, you guys. I wish you could see this.
This is going up in the On the Block.
Yeah,
Twitter
put it on
account.
the Block Twitter.
ASAP.
Go check it out. Go and become a follower as well. Follow us. We love you guys. That's definitely
You know what's funnier about all of this?
Yeah.
I don't know if any of those are still as ugly as Charles Barkley's golf swing.
Oh,
the Chuckster.
The Cluckster. That's I don't know what we got to name that thing. Do you see that? He goes. Oh yeah. I don't know how he does that. Yeah, there's some ugly things out there, but those are some of the ones that you guys should go there, check out. On the Block.
At On the Block 937.
Yeah, go check that out, guys.
Also check out Wilderness Ridge. That's not ugly. That's beautiful.
Not at all.
Incredibly beautiful course. Incredibly beautiful day for golf. We'll get our heads screwed back on straight. We'll be back to wrap up On the Block right after this.
Follow Austin, Strick, and On the Block on Twitter at Austin Orman, eStrick20, and On the Block 93.7. More of On the Block coming up.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to The Mercado today for the best meat in town.
People always ask me, hey, Livy, what fuels you? Passion, competition, the pursuit of greatness, none of those things. Raising Cane's is the only fuel I need. Their cook-to-order chicken fingers always fills my tank, and the crinkle-cut fries and Texas toast are the perfect top-off for the perfect road trip. So when I'm running on fumes, I always refuel at Raising Cane's. But turns out, not everything's fueled by Cane's. Guess the old girl prefers her sauce unleaded. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Now's the best time to lock in early order savings on a new John Deere planter from Landmark Implement during the early order program. Plant for success with the latest technology, including Exact Emerge high-speed planters that help you cover more acres with greater precision and productivity. Order your planter for next year now to unlock the biggest savings of the season. Contact your local Landmark location today and experience the Landmark difference.
Hey, it's Adam Carricker. Join me this Wednesday, June 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Adam Carricker Show live at Suizo Construction to celebrate their ribbon cutting and open house and celebrating 40 years of excellence with a remodeled facility. That's Wednesday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Suizo Construction, 3700 South 6th Street.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com. A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
If you're working in your yard, remember never to place landscaping structures and fences too close to above-ground electrical equipment. It's unsafe and could cost you financially. Visit les.com for a complete fence and landscaping installation guide.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Be at the 32nd Annual Testicle Festival for some fun, rain or shine. Free entry for military. It's at Round the Bend Steakhouse in Ashland, June 14th from 11 to 10. Take I-80 exit 426, roundthebendsteakhouse.com.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Now back to On the Block with Eric Strickland, Jay Foreman, and Austin Orman.
Down here on Yankee Hill. Beautiful day, beautiful course, beautiful conversation. Still plenty more to get into over the course of the next hour on Old School, but we got sidetracked with a really fun conversation about the worst looking jump shots in NBA history. Cubsker throws out Lonzo Ball, Reggie Miller, and his own jumper. Cubsker, that's why we said NBA history. So my brother, you and I did not reach the NBA. Tulane Tanner.
Quick, who was? I know it was John and Cortland, but who was the other one? That
Augie.
It was Augie.
Augie. North Carolina fan, Augie. But it's okay. We'll still give you a gift card. Jamal Wilkes was thrown out there. Fat Lever was one you were telling me about. We pulled up some Fat Lever highlights. That's not exactly pretty. Pecan Pie says white chocolate.
No,
you thought it was okay?
Yeah, I don't think his was too bad. You know, it was different. It came from the side, but it wasn't. It wasn't too bad.
I would like to see Mike Bibby's jump shot now that he's all rocked up.
I know, right?
You know, like how similar, different is it?
What do you think about Stojakovic's? Stojakovic kind of had one that went a little across the face a little bit. It was still pure, though.
Let's see.
It was still pure, but he kind of.
All right, Peja Stojakovic is one of the greatest shooters ever. Throwback highlights.
Yeah.
Let's get the official jury verdict on this one. All right, Peja, come on.
You know, kind of
right in front of his face a little bit, yeah. But everything else, the arm is good.
Yeah, all is pure though.
Yeah.
It's kind of a flick back, and you know what I mean?
Okay, well, we're on this. Bearcay's got to figure out his shooting form this offseason. Like, the inconsistencies with his upper body. Sometimes he'll cock it back Larry Bird style.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a flick of the wrist. Just get that arm extended, big fella.
That's a fact. I agree with you. I'm hoping his game goes to another level. I really am. I'm wanting to see something out of him, and I think that I'm hoping the expectations, especially for what he's garnered in NIL, you know, I'm hoping he's putting in the work. I really do. Brad Miller was the slowest player that I've ever seen with the shot fake that I've ever seen in my life. Brad would be like, and he's like that sloth. But he was an all-star. He got it done. He got it done. It was the funniest thing watching Brad play when we played together in Indiana. Yeah, but he was a good guy. He's a cool dude.
Is it harder to play against someone fast like Russell Westbrook or John Wall, or someone slow like Brad Miller and Kyle Anderson?
I think it's tough. Boris Diaw, like say what you will, outside of his first step, Paul played slow. Like his first step was amazing, but everything he did from his step back, even the way he did Al, the one that we talked about, he just kind of stepped off and bow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So guys like that are difficult because they can slow fake you into. And actually, Shea is very similar. Shea's first step and his ability of quickness in change of direction, change of speed and direction.
Yeah.
But the slow part of him is what makes you bait.
Luka and Harden are the same way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Especially Luka. Because it's that shot fake that gets you so slow and methodical, but it looks like his shot that it gets you.
Well, and the other part about those guys is their deceleration, right? You talk about first step in basketball. Like, can I shot fake, get by a guy? Can I create separation from my defender, get him on my hip, or get my shoulders past him? But what Luka, what Shea, what Harden do so well is their last step. They are in such control of the ball, such control of their momentum that they can go fast enough without playing out of control, without getting reckless, without going too fast. And then they slam on the brakes on you. And they're still on balance enough to get the shot off or make the right play. So I understand it's easier to measure acceleration or vertical jump. But for all the grief that Luka gets for his size and your boy Michael Finley taking the beer from him after they won the West, like, he is still an incredible athlete. I would say Joker's probably in that same conversation to some degree as well.
Yeah, he does have a very similar. Dirk was like that too.
Okay.
Dirk was very slow, methodical, but if you're able to mask, it's very similar to what a pitcher would do in throwing a changeup compared to his fastball. His arm speed is still the same. It doesn't change. His angle is still the same. It doesn't change. The change is in the grip and in the release of the ball, which throws you off. So if you can mask it enough, you that's where you win, because if you can throw up in the 90s and drop one into the 88 and low 80s off of a change, you've got some business there.
Absolutely. Last note here before we start wrapping up the show, Nebraska men's basketball adds some staffers to the mix here. One of them, Justin Moore, coordinator of analytics. He was a grad manager, student manager, assistant, all that kind of good stuff. He gets promoted. Braden Grant comes on board as a graduate manager. He played some lower-level college ball, including a handful of games at Wright State last year. Here's the interesting one, though, Strick. Charlie Hoiberg.
Back.
Sam's twin.
Yeah.
So, hear me out. Charlie went to TCU. I don't think he played basketball there. I think he was a manager down there. I think that Nebraska just bought Sam Hoiberg 5 free fouls a game.
He does.
Jersey swap.
He does look like.
That's what I'm saying.
He does look like he's a splitting image of him. That's for sure. That is interesting. Good for them. Congratulations to them and becoming additions to the team, no doubt.
Let's see here. One more from the text line, John in Cortland. Oh, another name on that 3,000-point score list was Rick Barry.
Yeah.
I wondered if you were going to go there because Rick Barry was the only one to shoot free throws underhanded. Yeah.
And was kind of proficient with it too.
Very.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it the spin? Because to me, it's the same as any shot where you got to get the form down and got to get consistent with it. It's not just a cheat code.
Yeah, the arc of it, the spin of it. And somehow you've got to aim for the back, because if it hits the back part, it's going to drop in.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a technique to it, that's for sure. He was very proficient at it. Not many people I said could do that. I think Shaq maybe should have tried it as bad as he shot free throws.
I'm trying to think. Rick's son, Canyon, I think, has played for Team USA in some respects. I think he's been mostly a 3-on-3 guy. He continued the legacy. I think Canyon was at Florida, was where he played his college ball. So, Strick, thanks for coming down here, my guy. It's been a blast. Thanks to the staff at Wilderness Ridge. Thanks to the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Don't forget, we will have a full show for you tomorrow. I know it's Tuesday, but from 3 to 5, we will have On the Block. We'll move Takedown Tuesday to 6 p.m. since they recorded. So we will have a full show live from 1040 O Street tomorrow. For Strick, I'm Austin. Thanks to Ellie for running the board. We got another hour to go. It's going to be old school, also brought to you by the Mercado. We'll talk to you in a sec.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you, whether it's your home, your